Hello, I'm Tina Thorstensen, ASU's Chief Information Security Officer, and welcome to this year's Information Security Training. The mission of the Information Security Office is to protect the confidentiality, availability, and integrity of ASU's computing resources while maintaining the open information sharing culture that's so important to us as an academic institution. This is a big job that no one of us can do alone. This past year, ASU successfully prevented over 48 million password attack attempts. While the Information Security Office works with ASU departments and strives to provide the tools, technology, and policies required to protect university resources, overall, you as an ASU faculty or staff member are responsible for protecting and securing university assets and data resources that are under your control. During this training, you'll be briefed on current information security threats and learn how ASU is enhancing processes and technologies to better protect our community. You can view the list of resources mentioned in this briefing by going to getprotected.asu.edu and selecting training. We appreciate you taking this time to familiarize yourself with the current ways in which information at the university can be at risk and how best to protect yourself and university resources.
The first step to understanding how to protect university assets and data is to familiarize yourself with the appropriate policies, starting with ASU's privacy policy and ACD 125. ASU's privacy policy is available in the footer of every ASU webpage. The policy describes the data we collect and how we use it to provide services consistent with ASU's charter and mission. ASU's acceptable use policy, ACD 125, goes into more detail. This computer, internet, and electronic communications information management policy defines the boundaries of acceptable use of ASU computing and communication resources. ACD 125 and communications requirements, including you must comply with all applicable local, state, and federal laws and regulations, and with ASU and ABOR policies. 2. If you become aware of a security concern, you must notify the Information Security Office of the concern. It also defines prohibited uses of ASU computing and communication resources, including revealing passwords or letting others access passwords that aren't theirs. ACD 125 also outlines restrictions and responsibilities for communicating information electronically, including on ASU computers or web pages. Following ACD 125 helps you to get your work done safely, efficiently, and in compliance with the legal requirements and policies. We ask that you take a moment to pause and read ACD 125. We thank you for continuing to keep our community safe.
ASU employees handle all kinds of sensitive data on a daily basis. This includes personally identifying information such as financial, health, and academic information, cardholder data related to payment transactions, intellectual property, human subjects research, and even information related to national security. Consider what happens when a thief breaks in and steals a laptop from a university office. Maybe the laptop wasn't encrypted. It hadn't been backed up. Now, what if that laptop contains students' personal information? If a theft like this is discovered, the university's staff may be forced to use outdated backups to identify and notify the students. Their identities might now be stolen. Incidents like this happen even in the most vigilant universities. This is why ASU has data handling standards, and it is important that we all need to follow them. These standards tell us how to access, use, store, and transmit sensitive information, and even how and when to destroy it once it is no longer needed. You can read the standard online at getprotected.asu.edu. Two major requirements apply to nearly all types of sensitive information. 1. Store data in an approved enterprise document storage location, not on your own computer. And 2. Encrypt it. If you can't store sensitive information locally on your own computer, where can you store it? Many storage options are available, and which one is best depends on your needs. To find the option that best meets your needs, contact your desk-side support staff and consult the Information Security Office's Data Handling Matrix. The Data Handling Matrix lists storage solutions on campus and in popular cloud storage systems, and the types of information that can be stored in each. You can find it online at getprotected.asu.edu. Proper storage, transmission, and removal of data, particularly sensitive data, reduces the university's risk of unwanted data exposure. ASU's assets and information are of utmost importance to the university. As ASU departments pursue research and discovery, the university must identify and invest in security controls that enable staff and faculty to protect ASU's data from unauthorized access. One of our most powerful tools for keeping information private is encryption. By encrypting data, we can ensure that attackers can't read it if they get access to it later. The first rule of encryption is, if it moves, encrypt it. When information is sent from one point to another, we call it data in transit. Hackers and thieves have ways of eavesdropping on networks. Encrypting data in transit helps keep them from listening in. Here are some ways to take advantage of encryption. Use encrypted wired and wireless connections whenever possible. At ASU, connect to the official ASU Wi-Fi, not to ASU Guest. Visit asu.edu/Wi-Fi to get started. Turn on encryption on your home wireless network. Read your manual or contact your internet service provider for instructions. Make sure you trust everything else in the network before you connect your computer, tablet, or phone. Don't use free or open public Wi-Fi. Look for padlock, password protected, or secured Wi-Fi connections. Use an encrypted connection to get your email. Share documents from a secure location, like ASU's Dropbox for Education, instead of sending a copy of the document in your email message. Finally, use ASU's SSL VPN when you connect to ASU servers, even when you're on campus. You can download it and get complete instructions at sslvpn.asu.edu. The second rule of encryption is, if it just sits there, encrypt it. When the information is on a disk, drive, tape, or other media, we call it data at rest. This information is vulnerable to theft or unauthorized access. Encrypting data at rest helps to ensure that if the bad guys get a hold of your stuff, they can't get the information stored on it. Here's what you can do. For your computer, turn on full disk encryption using BitLocker or the encryption built into your operating system. On your smartphone, look for encryption in the settings and turn it on. For flash drives, camera cards, and other external media, use BitLocker to go or other encryption software with a strong password. Remember to encrypt backups too. Check for an encryption option in your backup software. ASU recommends a variety of encryption tools for Windows, Mac, Linux, and even mobile devices. A complete list can be found on Get Protected. For more information, go to getprotected.asu.edu. Find services in the menu option, then find Data Encryption. Physical security is just as important as digital security. An attacker's job is much easier with physical access. To test the importance of physical security, Symantec conducted a social experiment to see how many people would snoop through a stranger's phone and try to access data stored on it. According to an article published by the Daily Mail UK, the phone was dropped off and in less than 10 minutes someone grabbed it and started looking through the photos. Over the next few days, finders tried to access passwords, bank accounts, and social networking websites from the phone. In 96 out of 100 cases, people who found the lost smartphone looked for personal information and other data stored on the phone. That's why you should lock, encrypt, and password protect all of your electronic devices. This past year at ASU, the Information Security Office conducted physical security drills on campuses with the help of a business partner. The business partner sent someone to pose as an ASU desk-side support agent with important computer updates to install. Because the imposter acted like he belonged, he was allowed and attempted access on one system without any questions from the system owners. This is not unusual in a large and diverse organization like ours with a strong culture of service. A few changes, however, can help in big ways. When you see an unfamiliar face in the work environment, don't be afraid to ask, "Who are you looking for?" Or, "Can I help you find someone?" If someone you don't know wants access to a place or a device that you control, have them wait until you fully verify their identity. If they are there on legitimate business, they won't mind and should expect procedures and precautions to be in place. Here are some other simple tips for a safer physical environment. Every time you leave your desk, lock up your computer, tablet, phone, and any other valuable electronic device. Do not leave sensitive documents on your desk. Lock them in an office or a drawer. Use a cable lock to prevent theft. Most stolen laptops are grabbed and gone before their owners know what happened. Consider using a privacy screen to keep others from snooping over your shoulder. A privacy screen makes it so your screen can only be seen from directly in front of it. For more information on physical security, please visit getprotected.asu.edu. Picture one of our students walking across campus after a long study session. She launches the Live Safe app on her phone and engages Safe Walk, which sends her current location to people she trusts. As the student walks, the location of the phone is updated, and when the student reaches the destination, the trusted friends are notified. Technology continues to enhance our lives in powerful ways, from thermostats to home security systems to the Amazon Echo to order groceries. All of these are examples of the Internet of Things, or IoT. IoT is comprised of internet-connected devices that provide valuable services to us, and just like computers and phones, they need to be properly secured. Are you bringing IoT devices onto campus? Consider contacting your local technical support to ensure the devices are properly secured. They will work with you to think about things like monitoring connections to devices to ensure only valid devices are reporting data. Monitor the rate and type of data ASU IoT devices are transmitting. Ensure all sensitive ASU IoT data is encrypted in transit and at rest. Identify the appropriate network segment for your device. Your doorbell or refrigerator or router at home, if connected to the internet, are all examples of IoT devices. Here are some tips to ensure your home and work environments are secure. Change the password. The manufacturer's default passwords for devices are available to the public. Leaving it unchanged is like not having any password at all. Allow and use only encrypted connections. Always. Patch and update the device routinely, preferably automatically. Restrict network access and remote management of the device. Better yet, if you don't need it, disable it entirely. Use two-factor authentication if the device supports it. This combines something you know, like a password, with something you have, like a fingerprint. And when you're not using the device, consider just unplugging it. Usernames and passwords are the keys to your information and the critical information you maintain. If a password is easy to guess, an intruder or impersonator can change or delete information or take an action in your name. They can redirect bank routing info, steal your identity, and invade your privacy. We can't say it enough. Use strong passwords. Here are a few easy tips to create stronger passwords and keep them and you better protected. 1. Don't share your passwords with others. This is important because ASU policy makes you responsible for what someone else does while logged in as you. 2. Instead of a password, use a passphrase that cannot be easily guessed by someone who knows your password or phrase based on your interest, family names, pet names, etc. For example, consider a favorite song, movie quote, or phrase that is meaningful to you. Consider abbreviating, misspelling, or replacing some letters with numbers or symbols that make it even harder to guess. 3. Don't overshare personal information online, such as your birth year, the high school you attended, and other facts that are commonly used in website security questions. 4. Use different passwords for different sites, just like you have different locks for your house, car, and office. That way, if one password is compromised, that information can't be used to access accounts on another site. Use two-factor authentication when it is an option. This makes it harder to impersonate you because knowing your password is not enough. The attacker would also need to have something like your computer or phone. ASU uses Duo. Learn how to use it at getprotected.asu.edu. Pay attention to login alerts that may come by text or email, warning you about logins to your services from a different computer. If you don't recognize the computer they mention, you may need to take action to secure your account. 7. Don't keep your passwords on written notes or in a file on your computer. You wouldn't leave your car keys next to your car in the parking lot. It's the same thing. ASU offers a useful system called LastPass to help you manage your passwords. If your password does get stolen or you believe you're a victim of fraud or identity theft, ASU provides a service to answer your questions and to help you recover. Call All Clear ID at 855-434-8077 and provide the code ASU458 for assistance at no charge to you. For more information, please visit our Get Protected site. Amanda works for a large pharmaceutical company and knows about cybersecurity. She takes steps to avoid cyber attacks. But one day, she received an email from her company's financial department asking her to verify her banking and home address information. Since she recognized the sender's email address, Amanda clicked the link in the email and typed her password into the login page. If only she had looked closer at that link in her browser first. What she did not notice was that the email address that she thought she recognized was a close imitation, but the domain name was one character off. The message was a phishing attack, and she had just been hooked. Phishing is pretending to be someone you trust, such as a friend, colleague, or business partner, in order to get important information and access from you. Phishing can take many forms: email messages, phone calls, web ads, and even text messages. Phishing attacks are on the rise because they're cheap for attackers and they work. Some phishing attacks send you a fake login screen and capture the ID and password you type, which the attacker can then use to log into real services as you. Others may trick you into clicking a link that looks legitimate but installs malware onto your computer instead. These are called drive-by downloads. Ransomware is a particular kind of malware that encrypts your data, and then the attackers want you to pay a fee to get your data back. ASU regularly enhances our services to incorporate some of the latest technologies to stop many of these attacks. But there's always a chance that an attack will make it through. Before something happens, prepare. Here's what you can do. Store your files in an enterprise storage location where they are always backed up. Leverage tools like Dropbox to keep your files in the cloud while also maintaining a copy on your local computer for easy access when you are traveling or in a remote location without internet connectivity. Stop and think. Don't download files from sites that you don't know you can trust. Watch out for email phishing. If a message sounds fishy, don't do what it tells you. Forward it to infosec@asu.edu for review. Remember, when in doubt, call it out. Seek your desk side team to ensure the following. Ensure physical access is restricted to the host, computer, laptop, server, etc. Configure your operating system with secure configuration enabled. Utilize computer managed software such as SCCM or JAMF. Ensure software patches are installed and maintained for known operating system vulnerabilities. Install antivirus software and configure it for regular updates. Ensure your local firewall is installed and configured. We should all log into our computers with basic access so we are notified on our screen when software is being installed. Installing new software happens fairly infrequently, and there is no reason to leave our systems open to malicious attempts to install software.
Even if all of us do nearly everything right, security incidents still happen. Almost every day, computers can get infected with malware, and people fall victim to phishing emails. Fortunately, most of these incidents are minor and can be fixed fairly easily. Unfortunately, some incidents can significantly impact university data and services. It is the responsibility of all ASU faculty, staff, and students to report information security concerns to the Information Security Office. The ISO will help by researching the issue, providing guidance, and coordinating incident response teams as needed. For significant incidents, these response teams will include data owners and university executives, ensuring appropriate communication and decision-making. Let's briefly review the steps in the information security response process. Report the problem. If you suspect a problem, report it to the ASU Help Center at 855-278-5080. The Information Security Office will help to evaluate the situation. Assessment and clarification. When a potential problem has been identified and reported, the Information Security Office will analyze the situation and attempt to confirm whether it's the result of a security incident. The ISO will also determine the severity of the incident. Containment and eradication. If needed, the Information Security Office will work with the department involved and the larger response team to contain and resolve the issue, recover systems, restore services, and recommend future preventative measures. You and others in your department may be contacted for information or assistance. Restoration. The Information Security Office will help the department identify ways to restore its systems and keep future incidents from happening. Management follow-up. After the incident is resolved, the Information Security Office will work with the department and the incident response team to answer any remaining questions, resolve any central issues, and clarify relevant policies and practices if needed. ASU complies with federal and state requirements to notify individuals if their personal and/or private information has been compromised. It's important to note that the department responsible for an affected system or service is also responsible for the cost and remediation should an incident occur. For more information on ASU's Information Security Incident Response Process, please visit Get Protected.
The ASU's security review process is designed to help identify risks with technology purchases or projects. Each of us is responsible for ASU's services, and we are each responsible for all technology we install or use. The security review process will provide you with the information you need to understand the risks involved when implementing new systems or services. There are 4 levels of security reviews: Internal Department Review, Endpoint Attestation Review, Security Review Light, and Security Review Full. To find out the required, recommended level of security review for your project or purchase, visit Get Protected. This form will also provide you with links to the forms that are needed to start the review. The security review will provide the college or the departmental unit a summary of the identified risks. The dean or department lead will be made aware of any identified risks, and it is their decision to accept the risks and proceed or pursue a different option. Starting the security review process early will help keep ASU information secure and keep your project or purchase on track. Visit Get Protected for more information on the process and to get started. Best practices in information security are critical to protect ASU's students, faculty, and staff, research, and brand. With current technology trends, more and more services are being provided by third parties in cloud or managed service models. When ASU enters into contracts with vendors who will have access to our data or systems, it is critical that these vendors have data security practices in place that ensure our data is protected. To provide these assurances, ASU has standard information security contract language that must be included in any agreement. This language requires the vendor to provide audit reports that include a list of ASU's responsibilities, control who can access our systems or data, inform ASU if the vendor has any information security incidents potentially affecting ASU, store our data and operate in the U.S., carry out timely updates to keep the software and system safe from viruses, encrypt data when stored or transmitted, provide notification to ASU if the vendor has received a subpoena or changes location of ASU data, complete best practice security reviews, provide proof that they test their software and systems and correct any issues, utilize secure development and coding standards. This contract language allows ASU to request audible proof that our vendors are in compliance with our standard policies and also clarifies the ASU team ultimately responsible for the service. If a vendor cannot comply with ASU requirements, the project team will work with our dean or department head as well as ASU's Chief Information Security Officer to assess the risk and make recommendations for compensating controls or alternate solutions. The dean or department head can then determine the best course of action for the university. For more information, please visit getprotected.asu.edu.
This concludes this year's information security training. You should now have a clear understanding of how you can help improve ASU's overall information security posture. At this point, take your time to review the study guide or proceed directly to the quiz. It only takes a few minutes and you can retake it as needed until you receive a passing grade. We appreciate you taking the time to keep our community safe.